Time, it appeared certain that the psychological scars left by the knife assault of a crazed fan had ended the career of one of the game's most gifted and flamboyant players. But 2 years later, she was back, looking as brilliant as ever. Our man at the US Open, Jeff Hutchison, spoke to the comeback kid herself.
And it's over. 7-6. Block 6. 6-2.
A few months ago, the media was speculating she might never return, that she was living in tormented isolation while her attacker walked free, that she went to sleep, frightened he would reappear in her dreams, and that the sound of her own screaming might never leave her head. How wrong they were.
Did you ever believe that you would come back so quickly and be playing so well and winning tournaments?
That one definitely not, because you can practice as much as you want, but when you play a match, it's so different, and you get very nervous, and especially after how the whole thing happened, I thought. But that's like, to me, the Canadian Open was a surprise, I think, to anybody. I mean, to my coach's surprise, to all. It was like, wow, okay. But that was just one of those weeks when everything I did and every shot that I had was going great. And you just say, wow, you could not ask for anything better.
I guess there was a time when you thought maybe you weren't going to come back?
I think there were a lot of different thoughts in my mind. The one thing that I knew, that I loved to play the game, and somewhere deep inside I knew that I would play again, I would compete again, because I felt the way that I left it wouldn't have been the way I wanted to leave the game. And I loved to play it so much. I felt I was very young, but there were a lot of dark moments in there, there's no question. Well, I think I went through a lot of different emotions right after, then a year after, then today I'm going through different thoughts. You know, I feel that one of the hardest ones for me was that all the Grand Slams that I could have played were kind of taken away from me, and that part, I feel kind of a sadness there. But I know one thing that I learned is what's gone is gone, and you have to take it and move on from it and just go on. And that's what I try to do, and I try to do that every day and keep reminding myself not to go back into that hole that I worked so hard to dig myself out of it.
If you close your eyes, can you remember it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's still there. The one thing that I learned upon working hard at it is that I'm trying to put it in a box and closing the key, but I have the key and I can open it any time that I want to, but I try to keep it closed because it's something that I don't like to bring back at all.
It was quoted in one of the magazines. I mean, how many people have had opinions on this subject that you could still see the hate in his face?
Well,
is it that clear?
Oh, definitely. Yes, that's a correct one. Some things probably are not, but that one is, because when he did that, I looked back and I saw his face, I saw the knife and everything, and that will be, I think, forever will stay with you, because it's such a moment that you can't forget. No way.
What's the hardest thing to deal with about the experience, that it actually happened, or that people like me and the rest of the media are constantly going to remind you of it?
No, I think the hardest one was probably what happened April the 30th. These are the other ones. They're, in some sense, I think sometimes good for me to talk about it, because for a long time I couldn't. I became very emotional if I would talk about it. And now I've gotten a lot better, and I try to almost like put it in that day that it happened, but I have to move on with my life. And I know at a certain point I'll have to keep answering those questions, but I think hopefully if I keep playing and whatever I do, that's going to be less and less.
Seles!
Her comeback began on July 29 with an exhibition match against Martina Navratilova. Monica Seles then entered the Canadian Open. She won the final and didn't even drop a set along the way.
You made a speech to that crowd at the Canadian Open. Tell me about that, because it was a mixture of every emotion imaginable.
It was hard. I mean, first, when I played there Tuesday night, there's so much emotion all through the week, and the crowd has been one of the best crowds that I ever played in front. I mean, they're so supportive, and I was like, I was just so happy to be playing again and then doing so well the first time, and it's something that I thought of doing for such a long time, and actually to do it, a very emotional day, that's for sure. I wasn't sure if I would be back and playing tennis again, and there's so many emotions here from the first day till the last day, and it's just amazing. I can't believe that this is real. Oh boy.
Between the ages of 16 and 19, Monica Seles won 8 Grand Slam titles. Along the way, she created a flamboyant media image. She grunted, she giggled, forever sporting a new look and creating new headlines. The biggest of which, her no-show at Wimbledon in 1991.
Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there.
Has it been tough growing up such a public figure because you have lost your right to privacy?
A little bit became hard when I became #1 at such an early age. I think 16, 17 is a little bit early, and I could have maybe waited one or two more years, so it would have been great. But by the Australian Open, I was totally fine with that, and I was just, it's great. You think about whatever age you are, 16, 17, and you're doing something that you'd love to do, and you can play as many tournaments as you want, you have that option. You're traveling around the world, you're making unbelievable amounts of money. What more can you really want? I mean, and you don't have to play that many tournaments. I have no complaints there, and I really had a great time.
What about the right to be an ordinary girl, to make mistakes, to say the wrong thing? Knowing that will be on someone's newspaper?
Yes, that's a tough one. Yes, because definitely if you say something, and I learned after I became #1, because I was #3 or #4, if I would say a single thing, it would be no big deal. But after #1, it's immediately like front page, and I learned that. But with my friends and stuff, I knew my friends before I became a good player, so I knew that they would like me for Monica, not Monica the tennis player, which is very important. But after I became like pretty good tennis player, it's much harder to meet new people, because you don't ever know what do they like you because you're a great tennis player or a great athlete, or just because you're as a person. But I think I'm pretty good at judging people. I've been pretty lucky up to now, but you never know. And I learned my lessons. There's no question there too.
In the time you're out of the game, to what lengths did the media and everyone go to try and get an exclusive with Monica?
Long length. I know, a lot. I know that this didn't come to me personally, but I know from another person that they offer like, I don't know, 70 or 80,000 for a picture of me or something, which is, I think, unbelievable. And then, I think one of the hardest ones for me when they would do, and they not did once, but many times, helicopters and fly very low. And I felt that's not safe, or try to and drop in stuff into the house, actually into property. That I felt was a little, or publish my exact address. Those things I was a little bit, I said, that doesn't come with this, I felt.
What were they trying to drop from the helicopter?
He just dropped different pieces of paper for interviews. He dropped them in like when you go into the grocery store in those bags, and had them in as all information, who he works for and
Dear
stuff.
Monica, can we have a chat?
Yes, offering all different things to have an interview, but that doesn't, you don't have to offer for me anything to do an interview.
And when she came to New York, she was welcomed as a returning hero. Having exorcised a demon, just walking back on Stadium Court was a triumph. It was also the most nervous entrance of her career.
I think there's almost like no way to deal with that if it's like like a Monday night here, because it's so normal that after waiting such a long period and actually walking out to the stadium and seeing the crowds and the joys and the electricity running through you, then when you're actually there, I told myself, it's okay, Monica, it's fine that you're nervous, just go with it as it goes, but still try to concentrate on playing a match, because you have to stay focused. But I just asked myself to try to do the best that you can, but I was very nervous. My hand was going this way, but that's normal.
You could, I guess, have given up, disappeared from view, and become a victim.
I don't know. All I do is I try to do the best that I can, and I love to. Tennis is a sport, and that's all I hoped and wished that it would stay, but at one point it became more to me than that. But right now all I'm looking for is just to going back to something that I love to do and that I get a great joy from doing. So it's that simple to me, and keeping it very simple as the other one.
Not much doubt we'll
So-
see you in Melbourne in January.
Oh, definitely. Yes, no question there. Keeping my record going.
All right. Well, look, the ovation may not be as loud as New York, but
No,
it will
it'll
be
be-
just as
no.
heartfelt. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much.